Good evening, everybody. It's a nice, wonderful Monday evening, a cold one. Yeah, it's been hot during the day, and then right now it's cold. It's been drizzling, raining a bit here and there, but all in all, it's a nice Monday evening. We are here for the UKG podcast, and today we have quite an interesting topic about PGMOL as well as VAR and the recent errors, VAR errors, wrong referee calls, missed red cards, or basically someone was to get a red card or a player was to get red carded. They haven't, so there have been a lot of VAR controversies as well as PGMOL controversies since the season started. So I decided, let me do some digging and see what's going on. Is the talk all valid? As fans, are we seeing something that probably is more of a scandal than we think of? We look at the recent VAR decision or controversy about Manchester United at the Brentford game. A player should have been sent off. We look at the Fulham-Chelsea game. We look at the Wolves Everton game. So VAR has been under fire basically because they've been making wrong calls, and the referees have also been making quite let me not call them silly decisions, but anyway, I've said it. For example, the Sunderland versus United game, the Sheshko high boot was called as a penalty, and then it was ruled out that it wasn't a penalty. Sheshko didn't touch Hume, and then at the end of the day, it was a corner. So did VAR miss that as well? Could they have told the linesman or the referee that that it shouldn't have been a corner? So so today we are going to talk about VAR, to talk about PGMOL, what is VAR, who constitutes the PGMOL, how are decisions made, how come they later come out and say, oh, we made a mistake, like Howard Webb recently came out to say that the Brentford game there should have been a red card which could have turned the tide of the game. So that's what we are going to look at. But before we begin, thanks for everyone who's joining. I'm seeing Baba Trevor has joined. I'm also seeing we have 2 viewers on YouTube, Facebook and Kick. Guys are still joining. A couple of guys have joined via TikTok, so get involved as well, and also share the stream so that more people can join as we are having this discussion. And let me know, how was your weekend? How did it feel to get 3 points, for Sheshko to score the second goal? I predicted it during the watch along, and it happened moments later. It feels nice, as well as Chelsea's wonderful win against Liverpool. Liverpool have suffered 3 defeats on the bounce, and all of a sudden the narrative is different. Like, you can't judge a manager after 6 games, but when it comes to United, it's a whole different story. So anyway, that's a story for another day. But so today we're going to talk about VAR, the big VAR, video umpiring, video assistant referee, as well as PGMOL, that is the group of umpires from Premier League, as well as the division. What do they discuss? What do they do? How do they decide that, as much as this decision was made, it was the right one or it was the wrong one? So basically the VAR was brought about to make the game, let's say, to increase the integrity of the game, to increase the integrity of the umpires, the referees. Sorry, I come from a background of field hockey, so I'm used to saying umpires. So referees basically were supposed to be assisted by the VAR, but we've seen of late, last year, the previous year, VAR has made mistakes as well. The referees make a mistake, the VAR decide not to correct. There has been all this talk about on-field review. The VAR calls a referee to do a review. A red card is given, it is reviewed, it's turned down to become a yellow, or a yellow is upgraded to a red. Some cards, we see that they are not supposed to be a second yellow. For example, the Casemiro one, the referee says it's a second yellow. Why doesn't VAR intervene and say, hey, it's too harsh? So ideally, the VAR is supposed to help the referee in terms of making decisions. We've also seen recently the automated offside system being implemented, and then now it's some of the offside calls that we've seen done by VAR with the offside assistance system, or that the offside system. Basically, we question, like, when you look at it, it seems like the player's toe is offside, but you hear that, or you see that the defender's shoulder is playing him onside. So you really wonder, with all this tech, with all this advancement in terms of trying to assist the referee, is it really helpful, or is it causing the game to lose its edge? Yeah, part of football is discussing about the controversial decisions, like extra time. Yeah, you remember the until we score gimmick or story that was there under Fergie, when Michael Owen scored way beyond the allotted added time for United to win, I think 3-2. So now we see, for example, Liverpool. There's this story about Liverpool getting more time whenever they are losing or they are drawing. Guys start asking, where did we get the extra 6 minutes? Where did we get the extra 7 minutes? Whenever they are winning, it's 2 minutes, it's 3 minutes. So, yeah, there's a lot that has been happening with VAR. No one really knows what to expect, how it works. We thought that it would come on to help the game, but it's causing more issues than we actually thought it would. We thought that it would make the game easier. Furthermore, the rules have also changed. Like you saw Maresca getting a second yellow because of celebrating. So it means basically they are saying, PGMOL are saying that someone shouldn't be emotional. I mean, that was a big goal for Chelsea. Why card the coach because of celebrating? So yeah, some of those things are what we are going to look at. And we are going to discuss about all that. We look at the history of the errors that VAR have made, PGMOL have made, the controversies around it. We look at some of the statistics, how the wrong decisions or right decisions have changed the tide of the game. Is it for better? Is it for worse? There are some teams that have suffered under VAR. For example, Arsenal, Man United, Everton have suffered due to VAR. We've also seen recently United as well in that Brentford game. So yeah, I'm going to share the screen. In case you are on TikTok and you can't see it, you can head over to YouTube. You'll have a much better screen. You can put full screen, whether you're on your mobile device or whether you're watching on your laptop. You can be able to see the graphics much better. If you can't, no worries. We are still together. I'll still explain. And and I appreciate everyone who's joining. In case you've joined, this is your first time joining, feel at home, feel free. Get involved in the discussion. Hit the like button. Go to YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Right now we are at 103 subscribers, so we've hit the landmark 100 subscribers. Our next goal is 500. Yeah, so let me prepare that screen to share. I make sure that all of us are on the same page. Where is it? Yeah, so VAR, as I mentioned, was brought about to make the game flow, assist the referee. Some of the decisions the referee, or some of the fouls the referee can't see, the VAR will assist. For example, if it's a penalty, a controversial penalty, the VAR will assist. But unfortunately, it has become an issue. There are more controversies than it was actually intended. Yeah. So we look at the VAR review process. So the VAR errors are judged by the Premier League's key match incidents. So it's called the KMI, the EPL KMI. So the key match incidents panel is comprised of 3 former coaches and or players. It has 1 representative each from the Premier League and PGMOL. So that's the panel. Those are the people who constitute the panel. And what does the KMI panel do? They vote on whether the referee's decision was correct and if VAR should have intervened. So when we see, for example, Howard Webb coming out and saying, for example, United were denied a penalty, or for example, there should have been a red card versus Brentford, or let's say Wolves were denied a goal when they played versus Everton. This is the panel that sits down and actually reviews and states whether the VAR acted well or the referee acted well. I don't know why I keep saying umpire. Whether the referee made the right decision or the VAR made the right decision, or VAR should have intervened because the referee did not make the right decision. So they actually vote on whether the referee's decision was correct and if VAR should have intervened. And we've seen referees being penalized for making big wrong calls or consistently making the wrong calls. The referees usually have a promotion and relegation sort of system. So for the referees to actually be able to or be allowed to referee in the Premier League, there is a certain level of, first of all, certification they need, and it's like a point system so that you can be able to ref in the Premier League. If you are unable to, you are relegated, or some of the matches you won't be able to referee. We've seen some referees who, we know that they are on the pitch as well as they go to the VAR booth. Let's say they make a mistake in the VAR booth, they are told you are not going to referee the next game that you are scheduled to referee. So there are consequences when referee make mistakes. We've also seen referees that have been banned, like Kutz, who was banned because of those comments he made about Liverpool. He was banned. So there are consequences, but most of us fans, like myself, feel that some of these consequences are not harsh enough because some of the decisions they make actually affect how the game is played. So we look at the composition of the KMI panel. That's how it looks like. And we look at the statistics. Before I continue the statistics, sorry guys, I forgot to check whether the comments are working. So let me make sure that the comments are actually working, because my plugin usually lets me down. So before I actually do that, let me just bring this back. So as I was mentioning, there are consequences. There are consequences when referees do make mistakes. It's not that they just say, PGMOL or the KMI panel say that a mistake was done and that's it. No, there are actually consequences because we know that it affects games. For example, the United versus Brentford game or Brentford versus United game, it changed how the game went because United were 2-1 down to Brentford. Mbumo was fouled. Last man foul. He was brought down by the last man. Bruno obviously missed the penalty. Assuming he could have scored, it would have been 2-2. Or even if he missed the penalty, Brentford would have gone down to 10 men, and that completely changes the game. And the game there was enough time in the game to affect the results. So those are some of the decisions that they look at and they say, okay, this can't keep going. They review and see what to do better. But unfortunately, it's like the consequences are not far-reaching because they've happened so far. We are in October, and the latest review was done for September. So basically, between 30th August and September, we've already had 3 big decisions that have gone against teams, and we are going to look at those decisions. So I just want to make sure that the charts are working. That's what I just want to make sure, that the charts are working, so that I get to see and read your charts. And get involved in the chat section as well. Yeah. Now back to this. Let's go back to this. Yeah. So VAR in 2024-25, there were 18 VAR errors, and that was down from 31 in 2023-2024. But not all of the errors were match decisive. So there are errors that actually affect the match, and there are errors that are inconsequential to the match. But either way, we expect a low error of margin when it comes to VAR, because this is someone who's sitting with screens. He has people around him. The VAR personnel are there to check. They check every angle. And I don't understand why we can have 31 errors in a single season. At least let's have like 10 or less than 10. So in last season, 24-25 season, there were 18 errors. Of course, it's a big drop from the previous season. Now we look at some of the VAR errors that impacted the clubs. So you see, VAR, when it's denying or it's deciding a match, there is one beneficiary and there is another team that is actually losing. They are not benefiting from the poor decision. So the teams last season that benefited the most from VAR's wrong mistakes or VAR errors were Everton, Brighton, Ipswich. So a +3, a +2, +2. So what does a +2, a +3 mean? It means that the decisions, if, for example, they went for them, it's a plus. Let's say Everton, there was a penalty call. It was ruled out. They get a +1. Or let's say Everton was supposed to get a red card. It wasn't given. It's another +1. So the decisions that VAR could have made, let's say, against Everton, and they didn't, they get a +1 point. Similar to Brighton, similar to Ipswich. Now, if it went against, now you look at the lower end of the spectrum where we have Bournemouth, the most hurt teams, Bournemouth and Brentford. It's where they were supposed to get a penalty, they didn't. Compared to Everton, who didn't deserve a penalty but got it. So Brentford, they got 3 major decisions that went against them, and they got a -3. Similar to Bournemouth. You look at adversely affected is Arsenal, United, West Ham, and Aston Villa -1 each. No impact were Chelsea, Man City, Leicester, Forest, Wolves. Slightly favored were Liverpool, Newcastle, Southampton, and Spurs, 1 each. And these indexes are for decisive moments. These are decisive moments that actually affect the game. Moments that you look at and you say, if that was given as a penalty, then, for example, United or Arsenal would have won. Yeah? So that's how the decisiveness goes. That's how the KMI usually look at it and say, these are the indexes of the affected match. So the most hurt and the most who benefited from it. Yeah, so going on to the next one, we look at VAR impact by club 2024-2025. You can see there, why did I skip this? Let's see. Yeah, so Manchester United season. Now, I'll be biased, of course, I'm a United fan. The United season turned on a VAR error in a 2-1 loss to West Ham, where De Ligt penalty incident. You remember that controversial West Ham penalty that was given? The ball hit De Ligt's hand or something, but the hand was in a natural position, but West Ham still got the penalty. And it was a key factor to, one, United losing the game, and two, Erik ten Hag being sacked. That was one decision that had massive consequences. And that's where we expected VAR to actually come in and correct the mistakes. But now VAR in this case gave the penalty. Same season, VAR did not award a penalty against Tottenham for a similar foul. In fact, a worse foul than that, because the defender blocked the ball with the arm, and it was a goal-bound ball. So you look at those two decisions. One favored one team, Tottenham. The other favored West Ham, or was against United. And both of these reviews were done by VAR. So those are some of the blunders. Those are some of the errors that VAR usually make when it comes to huge decisions. You see that game, United lost the point, and Ten Hag got sacked. Who knows? Probably if the penalty wasn't awarded, Ten Hag would have still survived the job, or United would have gone and drawn the game or won the game. So they are decisions, and then there are inconsistencies when it comes to VAR. Like during the watch along, we saw Dalot wiping the ball with the towel. I think the previous day or the previous weekend, there was a decision against it. You are not allowed to use a towel to wipe the ball. So also currently in the EPL, there are a lot of inconsistencies. I can't remember whether it was our game or which game I was watching. A goal was given. When you look at it, you see that actually the attacker is offside, but VAR and the automated offside system saying that the defender's shoulder played him onside. So you really wonder, where is the consistency? And we expect VAR to step in and provide that level of consistency, reduce the errors. Yeah. So when we look at the next bit of statistics, you look at now the big ones, the big decisions that have been made so far this season. It's Fulham versus Chelsea, 30th of August, 2025. Disallowed goal. The Josh King disallowed goal. And this is a very, very huge decision. Howard Webb, who's now the referee's chief, admitted that the decision to disallow Fulham's Josh King's goal was wrong. The VAR intervened when it shouldn't have. Yeah? And the VAR official, Michael Salisbury, was stood down for his next Premier League fixture as a result. You remember I mentioned that there are consequences for referees when they make a wrong decision. So Michael Salisbury was the VAR official for the Fulham versus Chelsea game. VAR intervened for Josh King's Fulham's goal. But the VAR should not have intervened. So you look at the inconsistency. When you expect VAR to intervene, they don't. When they are not supposed to intervene, they do. So does it all come down to bias? Does it all come down to favoritism? Is it a case of the extremes, like match fixing? We've had rumors, we've seen it. Whenever Liverpool are drawing or losing, they get 6+, 7+ minutes. Whenever they are winning, it's 2-3 minutes. Where is the consistency? Yeah, nowadays we have referees explaining decisions, but at the end of the day, it's a gray area. Should VAR intervene? Should they not? It's a really, really tricky one, because this is a huge decision that changed the tide of the game. Chelsea versus Fulham. It was a huge decision. At the end of the day, one team lost. They lost the points. Of course, an apology was given a week later, but we can't go back and play the game. The game is gone. There is no rematch. Salisbury, yes, was told the next game, which was, I think, Liverpool, Arsenal, I can't remember. He was told you can't referee, but still doesn't cover for the huge mistake that happened. Yeah. SKD, hello Mkuu. Yeah, hello to you. Today we are having a serious discussion about VAR. Karibu sana. Ayatollah, you are saying the week is so smooth. Yes, it is. 2 weeks actually. 2 weeks because of international break. So change that to these 2 weeks, or the 2 weeks will be smooth. Yeah. Now going back to the discussion, we look at the next huge decision that happened. And it was on the same day. 2 games, same day, on the 30th. And this was Wolves versus Everton. So a foul inside the box was judged not to be reviewed when it should have been. The decision was judged as a serious foul play that should have been upgraded to a red. Wolves should have been awarded a penalty after Elimani Ndiaye fouled Hugo Bueno inside the box. 3 of the 5 panelists agreed that VAR referee Craig Pawson should have intervened and called for an on-field referee to review the incident. So you look at these as some of the huge decisions. And you are talking about seasoned referees being in the booth. Salisbury and Craig Pawson. These are referees that are seasoned. They have experience. They've refed many games in the Premier League. And they are making mistakes. I remember there was a proposal to have an actual ex-player sitting in the VAR booth to give context. Probably a former coach. Yes, we've seen the KMI. They have the coaches, they have players, but they come to they review the decisions after the game. They don't review the decisions during the game. You look at also some of the decisions that VAR are making. They are taking too long to decide. For example, the Sheshko-Hume incident. Clearly, everyone could see from the first replay that Sheshko's high boot didn't touch Hume. Why are we taking 3 to 5 minutes to confirm that? Furthermore, the referee calls for a corner and the VAR don't intervene. When they are supposed to intervene, they don't. When they are not supposed to intervene, they do. Inconsistency. So is VAR actually helping, or is it causing more problems? Is it better to stay without VAR, or is it better to stay with it? Because to some degree it does assist. To some degree, to a huge degree actually, it does assist. But there is a lot of inconsistencies when it comes to interpretation of the law, interpretation of the rules, the football rules, and it's like it's reliant on perception of the VAR official. So should they have context from ex-players, from coaches? Should they discuss? Probably we need to get to a situation where the referee calls the linesman through the screen and they discuss. Because at the end of the day, the time they take to review the screen you see them reviewing, they add the extra time. Yeah? Okay, so moving forward, we see that the next big one was 27th. Apologies for the typo there. So on the 27th of September, the Brentford versus United game, Nathan Collins hauled down Brian Bumo, as you can see in that photo there. He brought him down inside the box. It was called a foul, a penalty. The referee awarded a penalty and showed Collins a yellow, but PGMOL chief Howard Webb recently admitted that that was a major error. Collins should have been sent off. United contacted Webb following the game to demand answers over the controversial decision, with the club's chief, Omar Berada, and Jason Wilcox personally seeking clarification. And you look at that, you see that's a huge decision. That's a huge decision. Of course, we know United play well versus 10 men. United do play well against 10 men. Any team would play well against 10 men. And being 2-1 down with that much time, there was a chance that the game would have ended a draw, or United could have won, or Brentford could have won. But the mere fact that the red card was not given, no one really knows the end result. So far this season, those are 3 major decisions that have been made by VAR that have affected the tide of the game. 3 major decisions. And the good thing is that now VAR is starting to get exposed. They are getting exposed for the mistakes. In 2023-24, 31 errors. Last season, 18 errors. So far this season, the ones I've seen are 3 errors. And that's just digging a little bit to get the context of the VAR error. So when I saw Howard Webb coming out and giving that statement and saying sorry doesn't really help. Because one of the things that truly affects the fans is we have match-going fans who spend a dime, who spend a lot of money to go to the stadium to watch the games. For example, the Brentford game was an away game. We had fans who are traveling all over the world to go watch. They are not only from England, from Manchester, but all over the world. You have fans who are at home who tune in to watch the games. And when they see such inconsistencies, then question marks are asked. Is VAR truly the way to go? Why aren't things being improved? VAR has been now for how many years? Over 5 years. And nothing seems to be improving. So it's a discussion that I hope the clubs will have, because there was a time that teams were voting whether to scrap it. I think teams favored it. As I said, there are instances when actually VAR comes into play and gives you points. Let's say penalty decisions, red card decisions. It favors a team. On the other hand, it's a disadvantage to a team, because if the decision goes against them, they lose the points. The other team wins. So VAR should actually review, look at how the implementation is, and actually say, yeah, as much as we make mistakes, we are supposed to be impartial, because there are instances where it looks like it's bias. You remember the 2023-24 season and partly 24-25 season, some of the decisions were totally against United, especially the 23-24 season. You look at some of the decisions, yeah, I might be biased because I'm a United fan, but you look at some of the decisions that were made back then, they are against the team. There are teams like Liverpool, 23-24, they benefited. 24-25, they benefited from VAR calls. Arsenal last season, that -1, it's a huge difference. It can be a difference to winning the league. Yeah. So you look at the games, when you watch the games, it's inconsistent. The referees are making inconsistent calls. Yeah, of course there are different referees refereeing every game, but it's like it's dependent on their own interpretation of the rules. There is no standard to actually state that this is what the rule states, this is how it's going to be. Yeah. So you look at, for example, handball. It's like it's subject to interpretation by whoever is refereeing that game or whoever is in the VAR booth. You look at sliding tackles. Like Adam Wharton got a yellow for a sliding tackle and he won the ball. Then on the follow-through, he brought down the man. At least it should have been a foul, not a yellow. But he did get the ball. You look at the Sunderland United game. A player dives. There is no card. You go to another game, a player slides, it's a card. So there are a lot of inconsistencies in the EPL, and the EPL is one of the best leagues in terms of commercialization, in terms of TV revenues, in terms of viewership. A lot of people view the EPL. So there should be significant investments in actually improving VAR, making it better. In my opinion, the EPL should be the standard for other nations on how to implement VAR, on how to implement goal line technology, on how to implement the automated offside system. But at the moment, it's it's a joke, to be honest. You also look at La Liga; they are making similar mistakes. Villarreal were carded for something very silly. When even if you're a fan, you look at it, you're like, come on, ref, that can't be a card. A penalty is given to Real Madrid, you're like, surely is that really a penalty? Yeah, Barcelona also, someone handles the ball, no penalty. So is there also an element of bias when it comes to officiating? Yeah, it can be. It can be. But no, it's as a human being, it's difficult to be impartial, to be honest. It's difficult to be impartial. We are all subject to our biases. But at the end of the day, the game should be neutral. The referee should be neutral. Let the game play out. Yeah, and whoever wins, wins. Whoever loses, loses. If it's a draw, it's well and fine. But you can't have one team having tackles, not getting carded. The other team makes one tackle, they get a card. It can be the standard. The EPL is the most viewed league in the world. At least they should show better standards when it comes to officiating, when it comes to VAR. They should be the reference point when it comes to how officiating is done, how VAR is conducted, how disciplinaries are done. For example, if a referee makes a mistake, show the consequence so that leagues, for example, like our Kenyan league, our KPL, they can adopt from there. Now we are heading to the World Cup. At least England should have most of the VAR official. They should have most of the referees, because they've set a standard that no one else can get. And the EPL is the most scrutinized league, because almost everyone in the world is watching it. Everyone. You've seen that even as a game of Wolves and Everton, everyone is talking about VAR. If you go to another country, I don't want to mention names so that I don't disrespect the clubs and the fans. There are clubs that are mid-table, bottom of the table. They don't get as much attention as EPL clubs. Yeah, so yeah, that was it for today. I just wanted us to have a chat about VAR before we head over to other news. But let me know what you think. Do you think VAR is actually working well? Does it need to improve? Are there decisions that you felt that changed the game? Let me know in the comment section. And thanks for everyone who has joined. It's been a wonderful discussion as we go through some of the latest news that's doing rounds today. And one of the big one is J.J. Abrams, the young guy. I think now he's turned 16. I think he's turned 16 years old. Has been making the news at Old Trafford because he's a talented player. And reports came out that he was being courted or suited by other clubs, other big European clubs. And United had to meet with him in the summer to keep him at the club. They had to keep him at the club because they fear losing him. They don't want to have another Pogba kind of situation. So they met Amorim, Wilcox, Berada, met with JJ and his parents. I think the dad is the agent, and they had talks. And news have come out today that he has been promised to get a booth in the new stadium. So an executive booth is where it's like you rent it out, or you book it, or you get a season ticket to watch the game in the VIP booth. So they've promised him a booth, something that has not been done to any youth at United. So that shows you the potential. And currently he's playing in the under 21s and he's performing well. Yeah, so United want to keep hold of the youth. You've seen that they've just completed the signing of Christian from Fortaleza? Yeah. And that's a good signing for United. Now we have Chido, we have Christian, we have Eden Heaven, we have Kone. These are players that will come in the next 2-3 seasons, and we have a superb team. Yeah, so JJ has been performing well. He's been given a chance by United. He agreed to stay on. He was given a good presentation on the pathway for him to get to the first team, and he will be staying at the club. Other news coming out is there's been a lot of praise for our new goalkeeper, the 23-year-old Sane Lamens. And I just want to take a few minutes to talk about him, because he is a keeper that gave us something different. He started the game. Of course, he kept a clean sheet. He had a crucial save in the last minutes of the game. And one thing that he did overall is provide that calmness in defense. And you could see Yoro, Delict, and Luke Shaw are playing with the freedom, because they knew at least you have someone at the back who is providing that calmness, that assurance that, yes, I'm here and I'm going to stop those shots. So Sane Lamens performed well. He's been getting a lot of praise. Thibaut Courtois has also praised him on social media. Peter Schmeichel has praised him. But of course, some of the people in the media fraternity will come out and belittle the efforts or make us feel bad for appreciating a new keeper and he got a clean sheet. There was one pundit on Sky Sports saying that he's only played one game, and right now United are happy because we are looking for something, for a little thread of hope to hang on to. Come on, you want to say we can't celebrate a young keeper who's performed well? If he didn't perform well, the same pundits will have said, well, you signed another flop. Yeah, so MKY, you're asking me about what do you think about this JJ Gabriel kid. He's good. Honestly, he's good. I've watched a couple of the games he's played in. He's really good. He's calm. He has skills. He's good under pressure. He can handle the ball under pressure. He's not selfish. He's a team player. He runs hard. He presses. He's an all-rounder. He's a talented kid. Honestly, he's a talented kid. And it will break my heart if he was not to make it at United. JJ Gabriel reminds me of someone like Angel Gomez or Paul Pogba. These are players that were really talented at the club and you didn't give them a chance. You look at Angel Gomez right now. He's one of the top players in Europe. He's regarded as one of the top players in Europe. You look at Paul Pogba when he left. He went to Juve and he became a £1 million player, just like that. So we need to keep such kids at the club. Yeah, there is also talk that Chido wants to leave because he thought that he would play first team football this season. We need to find a way to keep them. I would rather we even send them on loan. Like Chido in January, we send him on loan. I hoped that he will go on loan over the summer. I really did. But now that Carabao Cup went, I think that's where they would have gotten a chance to play. So I hope Chido goes out on loan, because Chido right now has matured. He's not an under 21 kind of player. He's too good for the under 21. So he needs to go to a championship club or even a Premier League club. Or if it's not in England, at least another club that plays high-level football. That's where he will grow, he will mature. By the time he's coming back to United, he's a good player. So right now, Chido has outgrown the under-21s. And you see JJ Gabriel, I think he's 16 right now. Let me just confirm. I saw guys wishing him a happy birthday. Sorry guys, I haven't been online the whole day today. I just got online a few hours ago, started researching on about the VAR. So let me see, JJ. I think he's 16 or 15. Yeah, I think he's 15. Yeah, he's 15. Today was his birthday. Yeah, 15 years old. And he's already playing in the under-21s. That tells you the sort of talent that kid has. He's a massive talent that we need to keep at the club. Yeah, he's a massive talent that we need to keep at the club. Yeah, so let's go over some of the rest of the news, or let me read some of the comments before we proceed. I read this one. This week is so smooth. Ayatollah, I said the next 2 weeks will be smooth, but quite boring, because for me, it will be a bit boring, because I really don't follow international football that much, but I think I should. Probably we can have a watch along for one of the big games. In fact, let me know which watch along will you want us to have for the international break. We can have watch alongs for the international break. There are a lot of international games. I'm sure there are good ones. Let me know. I'll also open the fixtures to see which one we can have. We can even have 3 watch alongs this week, or by the time we are getting to the league. Yeah. MKY, you're saying, and karibu sana MKY, Ayatollah as well. Karibu sana. Can he handle physicality at the highest level? Gabriel at the moment, no. He's still a kid. I mean, at 15, no, he can't. I think he needs to bulk up a bit. Because you even saw Chido when he came to the Premier League, he struggled. Chido, when he came to play in the Premier League, he really struggled. He really struggled with the physicality. It's a different level up there. That's why you saw Lenny Oro, Ahmad, who else, Kobe. Over the summer break, they were bulking. They were lifting weights. They were having those weight trainings, because the Premier League right now, it's quite physical. I mean, look at some of the players that are playing right now. They are muscled. They can bully you. I mean, let's say you are playing against Haaland. You need to bulk up. Let's say you're playing against Bruno Guimaraes. You need to have muscle, my friend. So, at this moment, no. I don't think he's ready for the PL. But he's playing on the under-21s. So what about the Maguire? Is he leaving at the end of the summer? So, Vintex, thanks for joining and asking that question. So the reports are stating that United are not going to give Maguire the contract extension, and they are not going to give him a new contract. So they are willing to let him go on a free. So those are the early reports. They are not quite verified. These are just coming from, of course, big media houses. But when you look at the reporters behind it, it's not quite, I don't quite think it's credible reports. Because even if I look at the big ones, I'm not seeing them saying anything about Maguire. So, yeah, I think the Evening Standard is the paper that posted that Amorim is ready for life after Maguire or without Maguire. So the club, and basically the article stated that the club is not going to execute the contract. I think, no, did Maguire get the 1-year extension? I think he did. Yeah, but they're not going to give him another contract. So, and that explains the rumors that United will also sign a centre-back next summer. So I think we wait. Let's wait. By the time you are getting to November, December there, we'll know. Because also there are no talks that Maguire is negotiating for a new contract. Morinke, karibu sana, saying hi bro, uko poa. Onana asirudi Man United, aende kabisa, asiangalie nyuma. But actually, he played a very nice game yesterday. He had a good game. I watched the highlights. Oh, my friend, I think he saw how San Lamens performed and said, I'll show you what you're missing. Onana played a really good game this past weekend. He played a good game. But I agree with you. Even if he comes back, he should be number 2. Although there are talks, now speaking about goalkeepers, there are talks or the reports, sorry, there are reports that United are interested in Ter Stegen, the 33-year-old Barcelona goalkeeper. They are interested in him in the January transfer window because the player is not currently in the plans of Hansi Flick and is available for transfer. In the summer window, this past summer window, he was allowed to speak to clubs. Hansi Flick has already told him that he's not part of his plans. And it's a sore relationship between Barcelona and Ter Stegen. So the goalkeeper is looking for a move. And United are interested. And of course, having Ter Stegen as an experienced keeper in the club would help the young keepers we have like San Lamens and Radek Vitek. So for me, I'd go for him. Of course, he's had a huge injury. That's why I think Hansi Flick said he doesn't want him. And of course, some personal issues with the coach as well as off-pitch issues. But Ter Stegen is a good goalkeeper. I'd take him, honestly. Honestly, I'd take him. If he accepts to be number 2, I'd take him. Because for me, it's San Lamens number 1. I know it's only Sunderland, it's only one game, but that performance, it's one we haven't seen for the last 3 years from a United goalkeeper, if we are honest. The last 3 years, we haven't seen such a performance from a United keeper. Yeah, so I agree, Morinke. If Onana comes, sell him or make him number 2 or number 3. Yeah, so let's see whether Ter Stegen news will get some more legs, because it's something that has been making rounds today. Yeah. Cows and goats. Karibu sana. I think it's the first time I'm seeing you on the chat section as well. You're saying, I think Chido has an attitude problem. Pia bro cannot press. Yeah, I saw that in the last game I watched was United versus City, the under-21s, the derby. And he was on the bench. He didn't start. And you look at his demeanor, you look at the way he's handling himself, handling the situation. It was not quite good. But of course, he's a young kid. He'll need guidance. He has a big ego, of course, because he knows he's a good striker. It's expected. It's just that he needs that guidance to tell him, hey, look, you aren't there yet. You aren't even in the levels of Lamine Yamal yet. You aren't in those levels yet. So he should look at players like Benjamin Šeško, who have actually carved out their career. And Benjamin Šeško is only 23. Chido is 18, 19. So I think he needs that guidance. He needs a big brother, arm over his shoulder to tell him, like, look, things will turn up. Things will be okay. You just keep training hard. You're not yet there. Get a loan, move somewhere, probably perform well. Yeah, but Chido has a big ego, and I think he needs guidance. He's at an age where if the club is not careful, and himself and his agents are not careful, then he will have the usual careers of a young player who has potential, then everything goes wrong. You look at how Mason Greenwood has come out of all that he went through. Of course, he had those cases. Whatever happened, but for him to actually survive that and still come to the big leagues and perform, to go to France and still be one of the top players there, that takes a lot of guidance. It takes a lot of guidance, and it takes a lot of humility from the player. So Chido needs that. Chido needs to calm down. I don't know what's happening right now at the club, but the reports I'm seeing is that he's not happy. But at the end of the day, guidance is needed. guidance is needed. And United right now have a good loans manager. I'm sure they are going to get him a good loan to move, and he will perform. I would like to see Chido as one of our main strikers in the Premier League. Vintex, you're saying nimeona huyo JJ ako sawa kabisa. Yeah, he is. Yeah, and he's 15. Yes, thanks for that, Morinke. Yeah, JJ is good. JJ Gabriel is good. As I said, he reminds me of Angel Gomez. He reminds me of Pogba back then when they were in the academy. Those boys were good. Those boys were really, really good. He also reminds me partly of also Rashford. He reminds me of that. But this boy is an all-rounder. He can dribble, he can press, he can run. He's a team player. He has leadership qualities. It's like he's an all-in-one. He's an all-in-one. Nasir, Manchester, welcome. Are you in Kenya? Yes. Yes, I am. Nairobi, Kenya. I'm streaming from Nairobi, Kenya. Where are you from? Let me know where you're from. And welcome to the stream. Moses, you're saying hata Bandia aende warudishe cover. Yeah, Bandia I think is gone. I think Bandia is going. But one thing I'm scared of is Amorim playing him in the Liverpool game. I'm scared of Bandia being played in the Liverpool game. Because Amorim is a crazy one. Amorim is a crazy one. But Bandia, I think he should go. We have Kova, we have Radek Vitek. Those are good goalkeepers. And if we get, let's say, Ter Stegen, yeah, we don't need Banda anymore. Vintex, you're saying, what about Martinez and Mazraoui? They will be in the Liverpool game? I don't think so. Because the reports are stating that Martinez, there is no timeline, but he might make it before the end of the year. Martinez might make it before the end of the year. Mazraoui probably, the Liverpool game probably. But from what I've seen from the coaching staff, from Amorim, from the medical staff, they don't want to rush players back from injury. You saw that Mazraoui had a thigh injury. He didn't participate in the preseason. He came back and immediately got the same injury. So right now I'm sure they won't play a player until they know that he's fully fit. But one thing I'm worried though is there are players who are not getting game time at all, like Joshua Zirkzee. Yeah, as much as we have one game a week, Jay-Z should be playing at least 20 minutes or at least start the game. At least let him play a few minutes here and there. Kobe as well. Aiden Heaven. I don't know whether he's fit or not. So there are players that I hope that they will get minutes here and there. Yeah, so to go through some of the other news is, before we end the stream, Ben Jacobs stated that, and Ben Jacobs was in the United Stand podcast. He said that Fernandes retains a positive relationship with Amorim, but however, he is frustrated with the positional change. So as much as we fans are frustrated that Amorim is playing Bruno in the number 8 or number 6 position, the player himself is also frustrated. And we saw over the weekend, whenever Bruno was playing higher up the pitch, he was creating chances and he almost scored. It's just that Roofs on the day was quite good. You remember the fingertip save from Roofs to save that Bruno shot. Yeah, so basically they need to find a way to sort out that midfield problem. They need to figure out, because also Cunha hasn't started the season quite well. He seems to be wanting to score too much, in my opinion. It's like he's really, really looking for that goal, which is a good thing. But he also needs to balance with team play. And when you look at him when he came on versus when Mount was playing, you saw the difference. Mount is a player who likes to get the players around him into the game. Cunha is a player more, it's like he's a bit selfish, which is also a good thing. As I said, it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. Sometimes it's a good thing to carve out a chance for yourself. But you look at Mount, and Mbumo, they are always looking to create opportunities for Sheshko, create opportunities for each other, create opportunities for Ahmad. And that's something that Cunha, I believe, in this setup, he needs to learn. That yes, you're a good player, you're a star player, but at the end of the day, play for the team. Eventually, you will get your goal. You look at how Sheshko was playing in the Sunderland game. He was always thinking about the players around him. He gets the long kick from Lamens. He brings the ball down. He plays a pass. In fact, there is a good highlight. I wish I could show it. He got the ball, brought it down, and played a nice pass wide to Ahmad, and immediately ran into goal. So if we can also have Cunha having that interplay with Dogu, because right now we've seen Mbumo and Ahmad are starting to get that relationship clicking. Yeah. So Bruno's position needs to be sorted out. He needs to be sorted out. We either bench one of the 210s and play him there. That is granted that probably Kobe comes and plays, or we find a way. We find a way to take him out of that position. Of course, he has experience playing as a 6, as an 8, but in this system, it's not quite working for him. What else? Let's see. Before we end the live, any other news that I missed out on? Yeah, and also Mason Mount stated that the team is 100% behind Amorim. So that's a big statement from him. It's just to quell these rumors that there is that Amorim has lost the dressing room. So he just came out to say, hey, look, guys, whatever you're hearing is fake news. And that's good to see from players. Dalot also came out to say the same. Bruno also came out to say the same. Maguire as well. So it's good to see that the players are taking ownership. They're taking responsibility of the poor performances. So Mason Mount came out to say that. But before I end, I mentioned about the difference between Liverpool and United, or United and other teams when it comes to the media. Liverpool have lost 3 games on the bounce, 3 consecutive games. And the media is saying that it's a team in transition. I'm like, come on. How is Liverpool a team in transition? They won the Premier League last season. They spent 450 odd million pounds on new players this summer. They've broken the British transfer record twice this summer. Florian Wirtz and Isak, big money spending, and then that's a team in transition. Well, for me, what I can say is I believe Arne Slot is being found out. Arne Slot is being found out. Last season, he won the league with Klopp's team. It is Klopp's team that won him the league. He only made a few tweaks here and there, and he actually won the league. Now it's his team. He's trying to change things. He's trying to change his setup. He's trying to change his tactics. He's trying to have his imprint on the team. And it's causing a lot of issues. And he has lost 3 games on the bounce. So will United make them lose the 4th game? At Anfield is always difficult, but let's wait and see. However, as I was mentioning, the media, as we all know, they are always biased against United. I heard, Carragher saying that we cannot judge a manager after 6 games, but they were judging Amorim. Were they judging Amorim because they decided to take all the losses from last season? So if it's the same for Arne Slot, then let's judge him from last season and say he won with Klopp's team. Now this is his team. And to me, it didn't make sense to get Ekitike, who was already performing well, and buy Isak. Doesn't make sense, to be honest. Salah isn't performing the way we know he performs. Yeah. Florian Wirtz is struggling. If United bought him and he was playing for us, putting such performances, right now he will be the flop of the season. He will be the flop of the season. So yeah, last comment before I highlight the highlights of the day, or I mention the highlights of the day. Vintex is saying that's the pressure from the coach that must to score in all games. Yeah. You have to perform. You have to perform. One thing that I want to see from Amorim is if you don't perform, you don't play. There are players who are consistently playing and they don't perform. For example, Diogo Dalot should have been dropped a long time ago. Fine, we don't have options there. But when Mazraoui is fit, don't play him. Don't play him at all. Maguire as well. He makes a mistake, don't play him. Bruno, our captain, if he doesn't perform, don't play him the next game or bench him. Makes a mistake, bench him. Amorim is punishing the young players more than the veterans. Lenny Yoro made a mistake. He was benched. He only played this past weekend. Kobe is not playing. And the player wanted to leave. They told him no. Zaxi is not playing. So if they don't perform, bench them. That's what I want to see from Amorim. And I mentioned in the previous lives that I would rather go with a young team and lose 3-0 or 1-0 with a young team than keep playing veterans who decide which game to turn up to. They decide to turn up versus Chelsea. When it's Brentford, they decide not to play. They see, there's a lot of media pressure, they beat Sunderland. Let's say after these 2 weeks, they'll forget again, we get hammered by Liverpool. Media pressure, they decide the next game you are going to win. So we can't have that. So if a player is not performing, drop them. Simple. Yeah, so thanks for being with us for the past 1 hour. We've had a good discussion about VAR. And I want to say massive thanks to Vintex on TikTok giving us 100+ likes. Ayatollah as well, one of the UKG legends. MKY as well, always good to see you. Morinkia as well. Cows and Goats, I mentioned that I've seen you for the first time on the stream. Karibu sana. We had Nasir Manchester, thanks for joining. Moses as well, it's always good to see you. Yeah, and that's it for today. Hopefully we'll go live tomorrow. We'll have another topic to discuss. And make sure you share the stream. Make sure you go to YouTube, you subscribe. We get the channel growing on that aspect. Like, share, subscribe. Keep warm, keep safe. Cheers and bye-bye.